Hey guys, how's it going? So this is going to be a video particularly for my Michigan viewers. However, all of you living in these 50 United States, I encourage you to keep watching so you can apply some of the same principles and same strategies that I'm talking about to all of these 50 states. We have to focus on local government, and it's quite frankly the best way that you, just regular people like me and you, can actually be effective. And we need to be effective. Because we have a republic if we can keep it. And that means you. And it's time for all of us to start getting involved right now. So tomorrow, January 11th, is the first day of the new legislative session in Michigan. And I'm going to be going to the state capitol. And I'm honored to be the House floor guest of my state representative, Jamie Thompson. I'm not honored because I get to sit on the fancy floor with the reps as much as I'm honored to be with her. Because she's a true fighter. She loves freedom, she loves liberty, and the Second Amendment. And when she's representing her district in Michigan, she promises the Second Amendment is a hill she will die on. And for that reason, I have her back, and will also be holding her accountable during her entire term as a Michigan representative. So, here's the thing, guys. It's really time that we all need to start getting involved. And don't worry, I'm going to be there with you. I'm going to be doing tons of things on this channel to keep you updated when specific bills are introduced. When things are going to seem like they're imminent and seem like there's no hope. That's when we're just going to have to get a little stronger, a little tougher, and stick together. Because as you know, the Democrats do hold a lead, a very small majority in the Michigan representatives, as well as the Michigan Senate. Like 2 people in each. Now, there's 110 representatives in the Michigan House, and there's 38 senators. And there's actually a heck of a lot more of us than them. And we need to go in there and become more involved in our local government, and our state government, in Michigan in my case, and all across the United States in your local government. Because as we know, the governor of Michigan has called for many gun control bills. Not only will she sign anything that's passed through the House and Senate that's going to restrict your natural right to keep and bear arms, but she'll probably jump for joy with glee. And keep asking for more and more and more, because she listed some things when she was around doing interviews, such as safe storage. Yeah, so that means in the middle of the night. When seconds matter and police are only minutes away, you won't be able to have access to your firearm quickly enough. She's talked about support for a red flag, which not only violates the Second Amendment, but pretty much all principles that makes America, America, violates due process. There's no such thing as take the guns first, then due process. That's no due process at all. She's also going to be encouraging what they call universal background checks, which we already have background checks when you buy from a gun shop. But naturally, you can freely transfer property to people that you know, people around town, people in the state of Michigan, unless, of course, you have a reason to believe they're prohibited, but I'm sure you wouldn't do that if you had that reason to believe so. We're talking about loaning a friend a shotgun to go hunting. Talking about loaning a firearm to your friend who's a single mom who just needs to protect herself while she's saving up money to protect her family. Things like that. They're going to want to make it where it's hard to exercise the right to protect yourself in Michigan. They're also going to propose radical things like assault weapons bans and magazine limits. And that's just the start. Because that's what the governor said. We need to start with these things. Which obviously implies they're going to keep going from there. There's going to be a bunch of stuff introduced. Anytime there's something introduced, I'm going to come on here and talk about it. Let you know the specific House bill number, the specific Senate bill number. And yeah, I'll encourage you guys to email and write to your representatives and senators. But unfortunately, it's not quite that easy. See, we're the underdogs right now. And we're going to have to fight a little bit harder than that. I'm also going to be encouraging all of you to meet your Michigan representative. Meet your Michigan senator. As in, either go to one of their coffee hours. Go see them at the Capitol when they're in session. Call their offices and schedule an appointment and say, I would like to speak with my representative, my senator. I'm going to leave links down in the description where you can find your Michigan representative and Michigan senator. I hope you guys know who they are by now. If not, it's okay. You have till tomorrow to find out because that's when the new session starts. There's going to be basically 2 types of senators and representatives in Michigan. The very narrow majority is held by the Democrats. However, there's going to be a plan, there's going to be a strategy, and we're going to all have to work together. So there's the people that are just going to be anti-gun. They're going to vote for any gun control bill there is, no matter what. And those are going to tend to most likely be Democrats. Not always. We have seen anti-gun Republicans before, and they need to be held accountable no matter what letter is behind their name. Obviously. Especially the Republicans. If there's any anti-gun Republicans, they need to be held the most accountable, quite frankly, if you ask me. And then there's going to be the people that are actually freedom fighters, that are pro-gun, pro-Second Amendment, pro-liberty, pro-natural rights, and realize that your rights are endowed by your Creator, and they're there at the consent of the governed. Representatives and senators that actually realize and are honored to be there to serve you. And there are some good ones. So we need to coalesce and support and have the back of the good ones, because they're going to have a tough fight. Now, we need to have the back of people like Representative Jamie Thompson, Representative Bob Bazat, Representative Angela Regis, Representative Phil Green, who I've recently spoken to, and I'm going to be talking to him to find out as much info as I can in the next legislative session. He's the head of the Michigan House Second Amendment Caucus, so very important when it comes to committee work, coming up with a plan to defeat any gun control. I encourage all of you to reach out to Representative Phil Green's office when it comes to anything to do with Second Amendment related things. And Senator Joe Bellino, who is my state senator and a big Second Amendment supporter. There's many other awesome patriotic representatives. Some of them are new, some of them are people I just haven't met yet. We need to get behind those people. Now there's some people that are going to be most likely more or less on the other side of the aisle. Again, it's possible they could be Republicans, but most likely Democrats are all going to try to toe the party line and vote for gun control. However, I would note, and this is just a little bit of optimism for you, there's some districts in Michigan that were narrowly won by the Democrats. I mean by like that much, actually even technically less than that are in blue-collar areas where they may have had the Democrat vote. We're talking union heavy areas. People that might vote Democrat but do own AR-15s, do loan firearms to family members and friends to go hunting. People that say things like, from my cold dead hands, that live in some of these swing districts, where even though the representative or senator may be a Democrat and may be predisposed to vote for gun control, it's very plausible, and I think in many cases likely, that if we the people are involved enough and active enough, talking to them, letting them know, no, that's not the will of the people in their district, might be able to sway some of those votes. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but we need to remember what our government's for and why our government was created. And although I'm talking about Michigan's government specifically here, I want you to correlate this to all of your states. And Thomas Jefferson had a pretty good idea of what government should be. I mean, we became the greatest country on earth after declaring our independence from the King of England. And I'm just going to read a little bit of the Declaration of Independence to you. And this is the part you need to really think about right now and really focus on. We need to do this together. I can't do this by myself. I can't show up to Lansing by myself, although I am going to show up often while they're in session, talking to reps, face to face. I need you guys to be calling your reps, calling your senators, so you can meet with them literally face to face and let them know where you stand with the Second Amendment and how you want them to vote and to what extent you will consent to them governing. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I'm going to pause because that's one of the most beautiful things you could possibly think of. Think about that. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If you have that, what more could you possibly need? Now, how are we going to achieve that? Well, Thomas Jefferson said it pretty well. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That's you. Look, guys, if you support gun control, then I guess you consent, but here's the tough pill to swallow. If you literally do nothing, if you do nothing, if you don't talk at all about what's going on, then you're also consenting. You're consenting by being derelict of your duty as an American citizen. It continues that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them, that would be you, seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. So with that, I encourage all of you, stay tuned, especially if you're in Michigan, for specific bills and strategies that we're going to have to try to help defeat. It's up to us to defeat this gun control. We can't just rely on representatives and senators and all of you doing nothing. And for all of you that are still watching throughout these other states, in America, I wish all of you well. I know you guys have a lot of struggles in many states, and I want you guys to get your hometown, your community, and your states involved and start going to your capital to talk to all of your representatives soon. All right, I will bring you guys along as much as I can to my trip to Lansing, and I will be there for you guys throughout the rest of this session. All right, thanks for watching, and have a good one.